Dilly dilly. Cheers, boys. Here's the Sunday's Finest Week 12 recap. So we'll get right to it. Start with the high score of the week, which, boom, your boy going off 157 points to DC's 102 points. Not a bad effort, DC. Just wasn't your week. You ran into a buzzsaw with my team, just about everybody going off. Had 19 from Kirk Cousins. Tevin Coleman had 21. Alvin Kamara, 33. That boy's on fire. Keenan Allen, 26. Jameson Crowder, 22. Had 8 out of Doxson. Disappointing 3 points out of Travis Kelce. 19 points out of the Chargers D. And my kicker got 6. DC, decent week. Just unlucky. Matt Ryan, 19. Kareem Hunt's been disappointing lately. 1 point. Lamar Miller, 11. Larry Fitzgerald, 3. Sanu, 15. Bryant, 10. Gronk, 20. Seahawks, D9. And Justin Tucker, 14. So overall, good effort. Just not your week. You had Philip Rivers on your bench with 38 points. So wouldn't have got you the win, but would have got you more points, which we'll get into later. So cheers to me. $25 coming my way. That's what I'm talking about. So go to the next highest scoring team, which I'm ashamed to have to say was Nate, 130 to Craig, 72, with Antonio Brown going off for Nate with 32 points for his top scorer. He had Russell Wilson, 27 points. The Murray running backs had 9 and 14. Had a goose egg out of Crabtree because your boy got his chain stolen again by Aqib Talib. You guys might want to have a talk to him, you Raider fans. Run around without a helmet, trying to punch people with helmets. Not the brightest idea. Just saying. And you had Robbie Anderson, 29. Goose egg from your tight end. 1 point out of your defense. 18 out of your kicker. Had 2 running backs on your bench outscore the 2 that you played, with Williams having 25 and P. Ryan having 15. Other than that, overall good week for you. Craig, your team did not show up. Drew Brees, 15. Patriots D, 17. And your kicker had 11. And that was it for anything good on your team. So, Nate, good win. Craig, tough loss. Then we had 2 teams tie for the next high score, which was 112. So we'll go with the team that had 112 against the team that had the most underwhelming score of the week, which was Winston versus Chuck. With Winston 112 to Chuck 46. Yikes! Not a good week for Chuck or Cowboys fans. So Winston, Case Keenum 31, had Marshawn Lynch with good game 16. Brandon Cooks 15. He had 1 goose egg. Tyler Lockett with nothing. Delaney Walker 12, Eagles D 14, so overall pretty good. Didn't leave anything on the bench. Chuck, you gonna ride or die with those Cowboys. Right now you're dying on that hill all by yourself. With your boy Dak, 3 points. Alfred Morris, 4 points. Leonard Fournette, that trade's looking skewed right now with 3 points. Landry, 7. Diggs, 6. Thomas, another one you got in that trade, 5 points. Tight end, only 3. Jags defense was your only double-digit scorer with 10 points, and you had your kicker with 5. Had Kyle Rudolph on your bench at 18. Jared Goff on your bench for 25. And your other kicker had 10 points. And had Blunt and Kenyon Drake on your bench that outscored your starting running back. So rough week. Winston, good win. You're still out of the playoffs. Chuck, tough loss. You're struggling to make it in the playoffs. So, cheers. All right. Then we had Travis versus John. T-Money with 112 to John's 76. With T-Money finally getting the game he's been looking for all year when he needed it out of Julio Jones with a whopping 43 points against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Also had Cam with 16, Le'Veon 15, Baltimore running back with 12. Had a goose egg out of Parker, only 3 points out of Dez Bryant. Newsflash, you might want to get the Cowboys out of your lineups. They're not good right now. Your tight end only had 2 points. He had 16 out of the Panthers D. We had some points on the bench. Hunter Henry with 13. He had Watkins with 14. Your other kicker had 13. So, but you got the win. John, you had 3 people with double digits. Brady 29, Deion Lewis 13, and Nuke Hopkins 14. Other than that, your team pretty much sucked, and you didn't leave anything on the bench because your bench sucked too. So, not much else to say about that one. Travis, good win. John, tough loss. You're fighting to make the playoffs now too. And last but certainly not least, we had some the closest game of the week, which was Miller versus Joe, with Miller taking it down 91 to 84. With Miller's highest scoring player was Joe Mixon with 24 points. Had a rough week at quarterback. Mariota only got him 9. Had Gurley get 12. Funchess with 12. Zach Ertz with 18. Your defense gave you a goose egg. And you had your kicker with 9. Left some points on the bench. You benched your your favorite boys, your Lions. And they all went off except for Amir Abdullah. You had Marvin Jones with 25 and Stafford with 19 on your bench, along with Devontae Adams with 15 on your bench. Joe, tough week. You had 29 out of Wentz, only 1 out of Howard, 8 out of Gordon, Jeffrey 11, Hill 5, Kupp 13. Evan Ingram's killing you with 1 point. You might want to look for a new tight end, by the way, in case you didn't know. Geno Smith's starting for the Giants now. They're going to suck even more. Bengals D, 5 points, and Adam Vinatieri, 11 points. Had Big Ben on your bench, 39. Had Jermaine Kearse on your bench, 18. 10 points. Would have gotten you the win, my friend. 91 to 84. Miller, good win. Joe, tough loss. Now let's get to the standings, which is all kinds of scenarios for the 5, 7, and 5 teams. Right now, the order is by points for, with Miller at the top, 1176 for. DC next, 1126 for. Myself third, 1122 for. Joe at 1091 in fourth. And Travis at 1060 in fifth. Then you have 2 6 and 6 teams in Nate and Craig. Then you have John and Chuck at 5 and 7 each, and Winston bringing up the rear at 3 and 9. With John and Chuck fighting to get into that last playoff spot right now. John's ahead because of points. Craig, you're in jeopardy. You're the lowest out of those 4 teams in points, so you desperately need to win this week to make sure you get in. Nate, you possibly could still get in with a loss, but you probably need to win to get in. John, you definitely need to win to get in. And Chuck, you definitely need to win to have a chance to get in. So that's Going to be interesting. Fighting for the. We have 4 teams at the bottom fighting for the last few playoff spots, and then we have 5 teams at the top fighting for first place. So it's going to be an interesting week 13, as the matchups will dictate the 7 and 5 teams, because there are 2 7 and 5 matchups with Joe versus Travis, both at 7 and 5. Right now it's a 1-point game, 95-94 for Joe. And then we have DC versus Miller. It's 92-84 in Miller's favor right now. I face John at 7 and 5 versus 5 and 7. He needs a win to get in, most likely. I need to win to hopefully win the league title. Then you have Craig versus Chuck. With Chuck definitely need a win. Craig, you need to win to make sure you get in. And right now it's projected 94-90 for Chuck. Then you have Nate going against Winston. Can Winston spoil Nate's season? Great comeback, but can Nate sustain it? Can he afford to lose? Possibly, but unlikely. So, Nate, win, you're in. Lose, and you possibly go home. You've been talking a lot of smack. I wonder if Winston's going to rise up. Right now it's projected at 94-87 for Nate. So, we have probably one of the biggest Week 13s in the history of our league, as the title is not decided and the playoff spots at the bottom are not decided. So, Week 13, gentlemen, better bring your A games, because I know I am. So, cheers, boys, to the Week 12 Sunday's Finest recap. Good luck to everybody except John and the people I need to lose so I can win the title. Cheers, boys.